We have somebody sitting with us tonight, man. I can't say enough about his value to Los Angeles, man, and the things that he's done over the past 2, maybe 3 decades now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
3 decades, Mr. Malik Spellman. I'll let him tell what he does. He's the peacemaker. And anyone that's been in LA, or not just LA, but any place that's an urban area, an urban enclave, man, in our community, man, it's hard to keep peace, man, with all the politics and everything that's going on, man. How did you get into your line of work, man?
Well, thank you very much, and much love and respect to you and Brother Eiht. Of course, one of the catalysts that carried I speak collectively at this very moment in regards to getting the efforts for peace during the peace treaty was his song that opened up our radio show that stimulated the mindset of the people, because the music that he was playing was quite influential, and it reached the consciousness of brothers in the streets in such a way that you guys combined have touched people in multiple ways that you will never know. So when you get something like that, and you get brothers like yourself and him, who during that time that was very critical for the survival of our race, you guys weren't beating the war drum, because there's different rhythms and there's different music and different sounds and symbols and colors that activate black people. Although black is not a people, it's a condition. So when you got a brother that was singing in them tones and then dealing with crisis in the streets, in high places, you never know who you influence. So right now, today, although we did the peace thing, I've been to 350 gang-related funerals. I've buried little kids in boxes this big when only me and my brother had to be the pallbearer because no one showed up. I've done over 200 I say peace treaties because at the time that was the operative word, like the word narrative is the operative word now. But at that time, peace was a word that was either escalation or de-escalation word. And now, ever since then, peace really means, if you look at the acronym, means power to education, always correct errors. You know what I'm saying? So once we get the power to education, we can always correct the errors of our people. So what I decided to do, by God's grace and his grace alone, and with the blessings of the people, God inspired me to come up with a thing called the understanding. Getting an understanding, because youngsters today, they was born during wartime, so they're not familiar with peace. You know what I'm saying? They was born in the 80s or the late 90s. We've been at war in America for over 50, 40, 30 years now. And I oftentimes tell people it's a damn shame that I've lost more friends on the Crenshaw Strip than they've lost in all the wars on the Gaza Strip, even up to this very day. You know what I mean? I've noticed that there's been 15,000 just gang-related funerals in Los Angeles alone. And some of those people are potential doctors, theologians, scientists, rappers, engineers, and philosophers. So when people ask me, what is it that you do? I just want to set the record straight, because there's a lot of malarkey coming across the internet in regards to the efforts and the image of black men in Los Angeles in particular, which reflects around the world. And as a result of that, they think that all of us is wild-ass niggas and rob and kill. Absolutely not, emphatically no. That's not the case, because we got strong individuals like yourself and Eiht that are personifying their image on a balance level to be able to convey your message to the hood and keep your license to operate, as well as convey a message of hope and prosperity to the future.
Exactly, man. Wow. And I couldn't have said that more eloquently. He broke it down, and I think that's important, because one of the elements that you mentioned was the music. And, I get a lot of people asking me, why is the show called the Gangster Chronicles? You don't bang and this and that. No, it's gangsters all across the world. It's gangsters all across the world. And when you start thinking about the definition of a gangster, I think we've kind of minimalized that. Because there are several things that a gangster is. Gangster, the brother that wake up every morning at 4 o'clock when it's raining, cold, he don't feel like it to go to work, because he got to feed his 3 or 4 kids in the house and, put a roof over their head. And he gets up, rain, hail, sleet, or snow, despite how he's feeling physically, that's gangster. The brother that comes out of prison and decides, I'm going to change my life and I'm going to open up a barbershop, that's gangster. To me, anyone that defies the odds set forth in front of him is gangster. And when you talk about the music like you just did, music is a very spiritual thing.
Yes, sir.
It reaches our soul. I don't know, and I'm not going off, but it parallels to what we talk about. Everybody's been talking about Scarface's Tiny Desk. You know how he had the live
yeah.
instrumentation there, and he was just spitting the ghetto poetry. I don't even want to call it rap. It was ghetto poetry, you know? And it just makes you feel a certain way because music is spiritual. The same way when you in church and service on Sunday, how they get up there, they singing, man, and the sisters get to slapping their tambourines and they dance, and man, it's an energy. And that energy can either be positive or negative. If you out there preaching destruction, it can be negative. You talking about a crucial period, Malik, in the late 80s, early 90s, when music was just going to a different place. And see, one thing that Eiht did with his music, as did a lot of other brothers, a couple other brothers, a few special brothers, they not only showed the pros and glorified it, like, okay, I'm getting away, I sold 50 chickens and I got away clean, you know, killed a couple police officers in the process. He talks about the bad stuff that happened. I got smoked. Went to jail. This happened. The homie got killed. How influential you think music was?
Well, to have someone, and again, not to just use the brother as an example, but having someone like him, you know, you have to speak to the people in the language in which they understand. You know what I mean? And at that time, the way that they were able to convey their message of experiences based on living in Compton, South Central, and Watts, it had to come in such a way that they can captivate the imagination of the American people. So oftentimes his personal experience that he had was conveyed through his music because that's what he was told to do by his tribe, from Tragnu or whatever tribe that he's from. So when you get that type of inspiration and then you go into those studios, you can only, if it ain't in you, it's not going to come out you. You know what I mean? So at that time, there was really no voice in South Central, Watts, and Compton. You know, him and a couple other brothers that was putting it down, and they spoke of what they knew at that time. And the beats represented that particular period of time. Now, fast forward to this day, you get a lot of stuff that's on the radio, but it doesn't reflect growth and development or enlightenment. You see, and there's no offense to them brothers because I don't do music. I do people. I do human beings. You know what I'm saying? I could give a rabbit's ass about where you from, where you come from, and I'm definitely, look at me closely. I'm definitely not interested in your tough guy story. I done ran with the Tony Bogars, the baby gangsters, the whole gamut of real live brothers that accepted the challenge to change, and I came out of Old Folsom, level 4. I was in Corcoran, level 4. I was in Solano's, level 4. Old Folsom, up there in them yards with them brothers enlightening you from them 212s, that Blue Note, that BGF car, stuff that you don't know nothing about. So to all you youngsters out there thinking that this is a tourist attraction and you're a tourist, then white folks got something for you, man. So if you're not familiar with the E to E ratios, you know, your earnings versus your economic income, or the E to E ratio when it comes to like, for example, white people, for every $50 that we spend, they spend $200 on education. You see what I'm saying? So you got to know the ratios in your own biological existence and know to draw the line, because they say, what is knowledge? Knowledge is to know the ledge of something before you fall off. So today's youngsters, man, they just need to be put in the right direction, because it's really the Crips and Bloods and the La Raza, and I done fuck with them all. F-13s, 18 Streets. We done did pieces with them. I done did pieces with the 46, 46s, Hot Dog and them, and the Venice Show. Name a Negro or a successful world worship deity in Los Angeles, and I done fuck with them. Name a neighborhood. Because there's no fear. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil. I sold 2,000 gallons of PCP. My body burnt up from selling water. I'm not no spring chicken. I just love black people and poor people. Don't get it twisted. I was a D number. I just happen to be the type of nigga that got good hair and don't care about nothing but poor folks, because Medea's at the bus stop, on herself. So when they get to talking about, that's why I came on to this show, because this show will save more lives than a cure for cancer. So when I come on there, I wanted to let the record reflect that it's brothers out here like us that's really pushing a line in Los Angeles. Everything is not foolishness and bullshit.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes. If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Gangster Chronicles, this is not your average show.